Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a quick little video. A lot of you have been noticing over the course of the last week or two that here or there I've been a bit disconnected or a bit down. March is always kind of a tough month for me. I don't know why. It always kind of sneaks up on me, the reason why, and I just wanted to take a moment to kind of open up about why that is, what causes me to kind of go into this slump every March. This year, this weekend in particular, is the 5-year anniversary of my suicide attempt. A lot of you ask about the tattoo on my thigh. It reads March 19th, 2012, which is the day after I almost drowned myself in my apartment. I've come really far from there, which makes me really proud to say, and people always ask why I got the day after. I'm lucky enough that I didn't have the means to actually go through with it, that I didn't actually do what I had set out to do the night prior, but that morning on March 19th I woke up and I told myself that I was never going to be that low again. But this past year I've come pretty close at certain points, and a lot of it has to do with, for the first time, me really experiencing my highest highs and then subsequently experiencing my lowest lows. If you had talked to me about a year ago, I would have been, actually almost exactly a year ago, I was so excited to be moving in with a guy that I had been dating long distance for over a year. Within about 6 months I was planning on proposing, and then towards the end of about 6 months or so I walked away. I wasn't really given a reason to stay. And this month is the anniversary of me moving. It's the anniversary of my attempt, and it's just been really tough. The hardest part gets to be at night. I still have dreams about my attempt and about my past relationship this past year, and I think that's probably the most difficult thing. If you have ever dealt with anxiety or depression or suicidal ideations, lack of sleep just exacerbates that tenfold. One night of poor sleep and the next day is so much worse. But I am proud to say that I've largely maintained the mindset of that day. I have been so low at points this past year, but I've never been that low again. I've never been to the point where I'm lying on my bathroom floor counting pills, trying to see what would get it done. And I'm really thankful that I had the ability to come back to my family and fall back on them and have them support me. In the last year, I had never really had panic attacks ever in my life, and I started having really, really bad ones, to the point where I would hyperventilate and collapse and hurt myself. Because I'd fall on the pavement or, almost drive off the road. It's been really hard because in this last year I also lost my best friend. The person who I broke up with. And that's been really tough because he was who I counted on for so much of my support. First it was myself, and second was him. And it's hard when you go back to having only yourself, at least outside of your family. And I just wanted to say, for any of you that do have issues like this, there are reasons to still be around. I look back, and no matter how crappy this last year was, I would have never lived this past year if I had gone through with it. that night in 2012. I would have never had all these great memories, even if they're now kind of tainted. I would have missed out on a lot, and I think hope is one of those things that's a little bit double-edged. It can be terrifying to have expectations, to want things, because trust me, after this last year, I know what it's like to be let down. But having hope is also one of the things that gives us reason to wake up in the morning. And I think learning how to deal with the inevitable letdowns of life is one of the most valuable skills you can have. And I think learning to fall back on yourself and being comfortable and okay on your own is so, so vital. You know, I feel like our generation, especially kids a bit younger than me who are still college age, grew up knowing about the suicide hotline and knowing that this is a common problem and that this is common amongst human beings. It's natural. But I just want to reiterate, there are ways to get help no matter where you are. There's online resources, there's hotlines you can call. You can get therapy. You can go to group therapy. I've tried a lot of different things, and at certain points, certain things have helped, and then they've stopped helping, and then I've moved on to new things. You have to find your own way to deal with these thoughts, because there's a really good chance they're never going to go away. They're always going to be there. I know I've been dealing with them since I was about 11 years old. And I was horribly stubborn and independent as a child, and nobody knew about them until my attempt when I was 19. My parents didn't even know that for about 7-8 years I had been yo-yoing in and out of not only suicidal depression and wanting to kill myself, but I also was bulimic. And looking back, you know, I did what I did, and I knew what I was doing. I knew it was dumb. I knew that there was still hope, though. And I'm so glad that I didn't do anything that I couldn't reverse back then. And I think that's the biggest thing is these feelings may never go away, but there's always going to be moments where they do. They'll come and they'll go. They're never going to be 24/7 unless you allow them to be. And that's one of the biggest things I've found, that I have to consciously fight to give myself better things to think about, to preoccupy myself. Our heads like to create issues where they sometimes don't exist. And that's why I found physical outlets and intellectual outlets to help cope with that hyperactivity up here that we really don't need, you know, and can really just get in the way of a good night's sleep. But I just wanted to kind of share with you guys why I've been a bit up and down over the last few weeks. It's been tough, having to kind of relive all these anniversaries of things that it's still hard to kind of find the silver lining of. But it's there, and I'll find it one day, and maybe tomorrow I'll see it, and that's all I'll see, and maybe the next day I won't see those silver linings anymore, but that doesn't mean they're not there. And that's why we have to keep going, because there's so much to find, and there's so much to see, and if you do anything that you can't reverse, you don't have any chance of seeing those things, of doing those things, of experiencing those things. This past year, I can say that I truly loved. This past year, I can say that I was truly heartbroken and really, really let down. And it's been really tough having to cope with that. But days like today remind me that I will never let myself be as low as I was, crying on my bathroom floor, running myself a bath. And even though that's not much, even though that sounds pretty dreadful, knowing that I will never be there again is enough to get me through at least today. And sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to take it day by day. And hopefully one day, today will just be another day for me.